Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will learn how to show our games into home fragment class by using all these layouts and class. Okay. So first of all, open your Android Studio. Now go to App, select Java. Under your package name, go to Fragments. Then go to Home Fragments. Okay. Now inside this home fragment, let's define some variable. First of all, define activity context. Okay. Now you have to define a array list for calling this our featured game list. This one. Okay. Mm, Now call featured game list. Name it anything. Okay. Now call our adapter class featured game adapter. Okay. Private. Now our featured game adapter and name it this one. Okay. Now also call API interface. Let's name it this one. And we have to now initialize our activity context first of all. Okay, let's require activity. After that, we have to initialize our featured game list. Okay, so let's sorry, featured game list, not the adapter. New this one. Okay, now what you can do, you have to now initialize this API interface class. Okay, so let's initialize it there. Mm, Initialize it here. Okay, before the activity, sorry, let's name it with the interface and call it a client. Now go to get client. Now create. Now pass it the interface dot class. This one. Now it is successful. Now we have to set or create a grid layout manager to create a two column for our games output. Okay, as like our games category. So after this created here, let's make a grid layout manager. This one, let's call it feature game manager. Okay, this one, and name grid layout manager. Pass activity context, and we will show three games. Okay, into one row. So let's type 3. Okay, now it has been done. Now set layout manager to the our recycler view. Recycler view was our name is layout fragment home. Recycler view name is RV featured games. Okay, so let's call it binding dot sorry RV featured games. Okay, now set layout manager. Now pass it featured games manager. Okay, now it had been done. But as you have seen that in our introduction video that we have three sections of the games into our home fragments. So we have to do programming like a pro. So remove this one and this one from the on create view method. If you do again and again for any other games, then it will become lengthy and it is not looks good. So like a pro, make the programming like this. Create a uh, separate method for our this game list. Okay, so let's go outside this and create a new function. Let's name it list data. Okay, public void list data. Okay, now copy this one. Sorry, cut from this. Press Ctrl X, paste it here. Now call this, copy this method and paste it here. Now make the line stop and it looks good. Now do the same with this one. Press Ctrl X and create another method here. Let's public void and it's a layout manager. So let's name it L manager. Okay. No issue. You can give any name to your class names or functions or methods, anything. It is totally up to you. Now pass the grid layout manager here. Okay, it has been done. Now copy this method and paste it after the list data. Now it has been done successfully. Now we have to create our API calling method. So let's create it after it there. Let's make a new function for it public. In the category fragment we do not have make the system like that because category is a single coding frame because only here we have to show a simple categories. Okay, but in the home fragments we have three sections and all these three sections are the games for like featured games, most popular and random games. Okay, so we are adjusting our coding view structure so that we can find out the easily our issues. Okay, that's why we are creating custom methods here. Okay, in the category fragment we have call our all these programming into our on create view. Okay, now but we are creating a separate function for our each section. Okay, so let's name it void and function method name is featured game. Okay, we are getting the games from the API, so we are fetching actually, so use the name as fetch fets. It is totally up to you. You can give any name to your functions, class names, or methods. It is totally up to you. Let's fets fetch featured games. Okay. Now I have created this function. You can create any name. Okay. Now after first of all we have to make our list clear. Okay, so call this featured game here and make it clear. Okay, now also we have to set our adapter class to null. Okay, featured games adapter is equal to null. Okay, it has been done. Now we have to call our API interface using featured game response and we have created here in the response this one. Okay, so make a call. Okay, you have to use this call one. Do not use this call one because it is the call to make a phone call. Then you have to use this method. Okay, we have to use this retrofit2 call which is suggesting is a interface. Okay, because we have to get interface call. Okay, so keep the click on it and press enter. Okay, now may dot may, mm, less than and greater than and pass your featured game response this one. Okay, game response. Now make a function. Now call your API interface, this one. Okay. Now first of all, we have to create a function inside this API interface class. Let's go to API files, API interface. As you can see, for the categories we have created this one, but for the featured games we didn't created it. Okay. So first of all, open your browser. Okay. Let's create a open a gamehubs.net. Go to the dashboard, then go to API setting, then API key for featured games is there. Okay. As you can see, the beginning of the URL is the base URL. We are already using it in our complete app, but we have to call this one featured games and then your API key. Okay, so let's copy it. Okay, now do the same thing like this. Get, we are using get here. Basically, it means that we are using a get request via Retrofit2. Okay, also you can make like a post like this. Okay, but we are not using a post request here because all these URLs are support only get request. That's why we are using get request. Okay, they are not accepting post request for now, so we are using get. Okay, so type only get request, press enter. Now you have to pass your this URL. Okay, this one. Do not make the slash in the starting and in the ending. Okay, just as it is. Okay, now call your featured games. Okay, and now create a function here so that uh, we can call it there. Okay, so you can name it anything, it is totally up to you. Let's say it get featured games, right? Now it has been done. Go back to the our fragment and make dot, and as you can see the function is representing, just use it. Okay, now it is done. Now we have to include the our callback. Call dot include. Now inside this pass our callback. You can new callback this feature game, it is suggesting you, just press enter. Okay, now as you can see it is created a custom function by default on response and on failure. In the on response we have to show our featured games, and in the failure we have to show a user to the show error to the user. Okay, as like we have created in our category fragment. Okay, now what you can do, just to copy the, okay, do not copy the from category class. Let us make the programming again. It is very simple, hope you understand. Okay, just call your featured games response, this one. Okay, now initialize it as a featured game response equal to. Now you have to take this response body. Okay, response to body. Okay, now we have returning all the response from the API JSON inside this our fragment response variable, and all responses goes to this class. Let me show you. In this class we have received status code, type, and gameups. Now we have received everything, so we have to check it whether we have received or not. If we not received and start displaying the recycler view data, then app will crash. So how we can check? We can simply check by status code. As you can see it there, we have a status code 200. So we will check same as like category fragment, as like that. Okay, So let's make a if condition. Now pass your featured game this one response. Okay. Now get status code and make this status code equals to pass a string and then write down 200. Now if status code 200, then it means we are getting a success of API response. Then we will return the data in the form of list of recycler view here. Okay. Also we can show the users to a error. Okay. Let's first of all we have to define the our list here. Okay. Now we have get the data that we are returning successfully our this data. But suppose that Gamehubs is a array of the games, right? But suppose what Gamehubs is returning a empty data, empty array. Then what you will do? So you should have to check it also there. It is either empty or not. If it is empty, then do not show the data. Otherwise, your app will crash. Okay, so you have to make a if condition again. If and get this featured game response. Okay, now you have to call a call this. We have created a function method here. This one featured game list, and we can call this using get featured game list. So we have to call this one. Okay, dot get featured game list. Okay, now we have to check its size. Okay, now size is not equal to 0, then we will do the start showing our data into the fragment. I'll say not. Okay, so suppose that we have now received the data successfully here. Now we will start showing the data. So as you can see in the fragment home, we have a title. Okay, now its ID this. Using this ID we can set a dynamic title from here. It is there, featured games. Okay, how you can do that? It is very simple. Just do go it here and call the binding.tv featured games. Okay, now set text. Now how you call the uh, dynamic text of the type. As you can see, we have created a type in the game response here, and you can call it using get type method. Okay, so call it type featured game list, featured game response, and get type. Now it has been done. Okay, hope you understanding. Now, as like we have to add our list into the featured game list. Okay, so call this one featured game list. Now add all. What we have to add? We have to add all the response of the array list from this featured game response. Okay, so let's type it featured game response dot get featured game list. Now it has been done. Okay, now we have to create our adapter, sorry, initialize our adapter. Okay, so before setting up adapter into the recycler view, we also need to check whether it is null or not. If it is null, then we will start proceeding to set the adapter. Okay, but if it is not null, then do not set the adapter. Again, I'll say your app will becomes laggy and can show twice and thrice and four times of data. Okay, and finally app will become hang and crash. Okay, so to avoid it, just we again create a if condition here. If now check our feature game adapter again, uh, feature game adapter whether it is null or not. Okay, If the game adapter is null, then we will initialize it. Okay, feature game adapter. Now new feature game adapter. Now pass your activity context. As you can see, we have created a constructor here. It is there. We have to pass a activity and a game list. Okay. Now for to activity context is our activity simply. Okay. Now pass activity and our game list is the feature game list. Okay. Type it. Now it has been done. Now we have to set the adapter to the recycler view. So our recycler view is binding.rv featured games. Okay. So set the adapter. So set the adapter here. Write down your featured game adapter. This one. And it is done. What if it is not null? Then use the else condition and make the featured games adapter notify data states change data set change this one. Okay, now it has been done. Now as you can see we have the data and response is successful, then we are showing the data here. Okay, but now if the data is not receiving, means we're not receiving a 200 status code, then what we'll do, we can show a total message to users. Okay, showing a total from a function class, it is very easy. Let's create a function class function and again function and initialize it there after the activity. Okay, function is equal to a new function and pass the activity context and offline. Now we can call it here. Okay, function dot show toast. We can show the toast message to the user. We have to pass a message inside this. Okay, first of all let's create a string resource. Go to values string.html and write down. As you can see we have already created API error, so let's call this one API not found. Okay, copy this one and paste it here. How you can do that? Just simply use the get resources, then get string r dot id dot string. Now id dot this value. It's not id, r dot string, because we are using a string resource. Now this one. Okay, it has been done. Same, copy this line and paste it in the on failure method. Okay, now for on failure we have used API failed message. Okay, with the cursor on it, press alt plus enter, make it null. Also do with the T. Okay, how it has been done. Also do it with the splash. Okay, you have to do it by alt press enter. Okay, and in this case you have to select this replace with object required not null. Okay, now this is ready. Now you have to call this feature games. Copy this one and paste it after here manager. Okay, here. Now our code looks good and everything is working fine as expected. So let's we have to check our code whether it is working or not. Okay, so run your app by connecting your device. So let me pause the video to connect my device to Android Studio. Let's our device is connected, so we have to check our app. Click on the run app icon and as you can see it here, as you can see our home fragments showing featured games successfully. There is no issue. Okay, as you can see 3 games are showing. You can show many games as you want to show. You have to visit your dashboard Okay. After go to API set. So sorry. After go to API setting, it is here. Show number of feature games. By default, it is three. For example, let's make it six. Now update the API setting. Okay. Mm, As you can see now, six games are displaying. So let's check. Uh, Close this app. Now run it from again Android Studio. As you can see now, six games are showing. Okay. One row have three games. Why this is? Because we have set a layout manager 3. Let me show you here. If you want to show two games, then simply just remove 3 and make it 2. Okay. Now we have to close the app. Okay. Now run the app again. And as you can see now, two games are in a one row is showing. Okay. I hope you understand structure of the app and its working of the coding. Okay. So let's make it the default. Now let's check it again. Again, you can check games are working fine. Image is not loading. Maybe they are big, so it will take some time. Just check our categories. As you can see, categories is working fine. Go to home again, and as you can see now, games are working fine again. And we have set a click listener on this, so let we have to check our click listener. So let's first of all click on this three dot icon. Wow, it is working fine. As you can see, the title is showing the game name Ludodes and message is the game description, right? And we have also sorry also set a game listener click listener on our game this to open the game URL into the device browser, right?